Break over, please.
Hello, moms and dads and all learners. The Ministry of Education, JHS, brings your way Ghana Learning Radio featuring all the different subjects from Basic 1 to Basic 9. Subjects include mathematics, science, English language, social studies, and our world, our people. Oh, tune in at 3:30 every weekday afternoon on all radio networks across the country. Ghana Learning Radio with all other subjects is meant to support all learners at the basic level. See you.
Pause the plane, it's time for learning. The future is calling on the radio. Are you hearing? No, are you listening? School, are you missing it? Call your sister, auntie, cousin, ask them, are you listening? Ghana Learning Radio is designed to engage the children in fun and exciting ways. So mothers, fathers, and children, let's all gather around the radio. If you just learn to read and read to learn on Ghana Learning Radio, I know you'll be great one day.
Hello, caregiver. Hello, learners. Welcome to the Ghana Learning Radio Mathematics program. Learners, are you ready for an exciting lesson today? This is Basic 7 Mathematics, Lesson 3. Learners, our topic for today is frequency distribution table. And yes, we will also play a game and learn new mathematical terms. My name is Mr. Edward Mills, your radio teacher. Caregiver, please assist learners to get a notebook, a pen or pencil, and a ruler. In today's lesson, we will use these key words and phrases. Now, listen carefully and pronounce them after me. We use the word data. We will also make use of the word frequency. I'll take it again. Frequency. We will use the phrase raw data. Again, raw data. We will also make use of the word distribution. Again, distribution. And finally, we'll use the word organize. So learners, we are going to look at some simple computations or calculations. So, what I want you to do is to write the number 14. Now, please listen carefully to the following instructions. The first thing I want you to do is to add 10 and write the result down. Number 2, take away 9. That is, take away 9 from the number 14 and write the result down. Number 3, make it up to 21. That is, add up some numbers until you get to 21. Number 4, 10 is how many less than 14? Good. Number 5, double 14. Number 6, multiply it by 3. And finally, number 7, round it to the nearest 10. Now learners, take few seconds to complete the activities. You are all welcome back. I'm sure you were able to do the calculations easily. Now let's take a look at the answers. Our starting number was 14. So for number 1, when you add 10, your answer is 24. And I'm sure you had that. Good job. For number 2, when you take away 9, the answer is 5. Good. For number 3, to make it up to 21, we need to add 7. That is, 14 plus 7 will give us 21. For the next one, we were to subtract 10, and our answer is 4. Good job. For the next one, we were to double 14, and when you do that correctly, the answer is 28. Then the next one is to multiply 14 by 3, and that will give us 42. Then finally, to round 14 to the nearest 10, our answer is 10. Don't get confused. Our answer is 10 because 10 is closer to 14 than 20. So, when we round 14 to the nearest 10, we'll round it down to 10 instead of 20.
Pause the plane, it's time for learning. The future is calling on the radio. Are you hearing? No, are you listening? School, are you missing it? Call your sister, auntie, cousin, ask them, are you listening? Ghana Learning Radio is designed to engage the children in fun and exciting ways. So mothers, fathers, and children, let's all gather around the radio.
Good job, learners. I'm sure you have enjoyed the activity. Please keep practicing simple calculations with your friends and relatives at home. My wonderful learners, I believe you are ready for our main lesson. But in our last lesson, we learned about data and some methods of collecting data. We said some of the methods we use to collect data include questionnaires, interviews, observations, experiment, and many others. I believe you remember all these ideas that we learnt about in our last lesson. I also hope you completed all the activities in your worksheet. Brilliant, my learners. In this lesson, we will talk about how we can organize our data nicely so that anybody who reads it can understand it better. What are some of the ways in which we can organize data that you know? Right. I'm sure you have all written something down. Data can be organized in many ways. But for today, we will learn how to organize our data into a frequency distribution table. I am sure you might have heard of this from primary school. But if you haven't, get ready to learn about frequency distribution table. Awesome. To make a frequency table, we first draw a table with 3 columns. The number of rows will be determined by the number of different items in the data. For our first column, we label the heading using the main idea from the data. So, for example, we can use marks, favorite drink, number of children, etc. So, if we collected the data about favorite drink, then that will be the heading that we will use in our first column. The second column will have the heading tally. Have you heard of the word before? The word is tally. And the last column will be frequency. Now let us look at an example of data organized into a frequency table. Listen to this question carefully. A B6 pupil wanted to know the best subject of her classmate. After asking each of her mates, these were their responses. Mathematics. Mathematics again. Ghanaian language. English language. Science. English language. English language again. Mathematics. Creative arts. Mathematics. Creative arts. Mathematics. English language, and finally creative arts. So, our main task now is to organize this data into a frequency distribution table. So, learners, I want you to draw a table with 3 columns and at least 6 rows. You are welcome back. In the first column, write subject in the top row. This is because our data is about subject. Then, in the second column, write tally in the top row. Then finally, write frequency in the top row of the third column. Now that we have finished with the columns, let's look at the rows. We first have to complete the rows under the subject from our data. Now learners, there are 5 different subjects, so each row would take a subject. Hello caregiver, please guide pupils to draw the table correctly and rightly identify the rows and the columns. Now learners, let's write mathematics in the first row under the subject column. After that, we write English language, then followed by science. The next is Ghanaian language, and finally creative art. I'm sure our table is taking shape now. Now learners, let us complete our table. Let's go to the column for tally. For the tally, we are going to make strokes to represent the number of items in the data. So for each item, we make a stroke. When a subject gets 4 strokes, we cross its 5th stroke to make a bundle of 5. We then record the number of strokes using numerals under the tally for the frequency. So for mathematics, we will make 4 strokes for the tally and write the numeral 4 under the frequency against mathematics. We will also make 4 strokes and record 4 under frequency for English language. For science, we will make 1 stroke and record 1 at the frequency. Also, for Ghanaian language, we will make 1 stroke and record 1 under the frequency. Then finally, for creative arts, we will make 2 strokes at the tally and record 2 at its frequency. I am sure you have completed your frequency distribution table nicely. This is how we can organize our raw data into a frequency distribution table. This is what we want to learn for our lesson, and I am sure you have enjoyed the activities. We have learnt about how to organize our data into a frequency distribution table. We said that a frequency distribution table has about 3 columns and some number of rows. We said that the name of the item that we are collecting the data about is what we use for our first row. We have the tally and finally the frequency. The tally are strokes that we make to help us count the number of each of the items in the data. And the frequency is the total number of each item in the data. All too soon, we have come to the end of today's lesson. In our next lesson, we will talk about how to obtain the mode of a given data. So please read about this. Until we meet again, my name is Mr. Edward Mills, and I have been your radio teacher. Please complete all the activities in your worksheet under Lesson 3, page 4. Stay home, stay safe. It is bye for now.